It would be crazy if this girl ended up going to jail. I will tell you that. It would be insane if that happened. Okay, here we go. Let's watch it.
Everybody loves memes and everybody loves crypto scams. So why don't we
sure
take the crypto scams and turn them into memes?
Well, this has been like the new transition where they say it's a meme coin and it's not serious as a way to like kind of make people think that it's okay, that it's effectively a scam.
Logic. Yes, that's precisely where the industry is at right now, and one of the biggest possible examples ever just happened in real time. Brace yourselves for a banger of a CoffeeZilla video on it soon, because the Tuah girl, overnight famous after she said Tuah during a random interview and the internet decided to just obsess over it, the Tuah girl.
I'll have you guys know that when this happened, I had a policy in my chat that anybody who would say those words, I would immediately permaban. It didn't matter what the reason was. It didn't matter why they were typing it. But if you typed Tuah, you immediately got permabanned. And I did the same thing with the Fulcrum memes, like the Fulcrum come in. Like any time that like a popular saying or phrase comes in and then people start spam saying it in chat. Yeah, like the fucking, there were a couple of other ones too. Anytime that happens, it will be an instant perma. It's just annoying. It's just annoying and stupid.
Offered up her own crypto token,
which
went
that
to
was
a
a perma.
$500 million valuation almost instantly before cratering.
I like Fulcrum.
And basically losing everyone's money.
Just annoying.
Except the insiders. They all kind of got rich. Actually, side note, she has the third most popular podcast in the entire United States, which I did not know before making this video.
I don't know who the fuck watches this. That's crazy. Like, I don't know who watches the Tuah podcast.
It's behind Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan. She's third, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But
yeah.
I didn't realize she was actually that popular. So this kind of all makes a little bit more sense in that context. Massive influencer, crypto token,
of course,
rug pull scam, everybody loses money, right? When you put it in that lens, like, it makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I realized that after scripting the video, so I added in postscript. Continuing. I'm not going to make this one overly complicated with the tokenomics or the blockchain analysis type stuff because that'll come later. Somebody is definitely catching charges over all of this. We just don't know who it is yet.
Look, bro, like, let's take a step back. Logan Paul did not catch charges. I will believe it when I see it. Yeah, KSI. Yeah, a lot of people have done these crypto rugs. Like Ice Poseidon did one of these too. I'm not gonna go and say it's gonna happen until I see it happen. He's under investigation now. I don't care. I want to see it happen until they're in court. It's not real.
And there's going to be plenty of people picking through the ledgers and tracking down wallets in the coming days. However, since I just got done listening to a Twitter Spaces, which is a really stupid format for discussing anything, but it is what it is. Since I just got done listening to one of those like Twitter podcasts about everything, where the founders of the token desperately flail around trying to defend themselves. This
was sad.
And because the absurdity of the entire situation is through the roof, I wanted to do a sort of tip of the spear take on how Tuah just became one of the most flagrant crypto scams in modern history. Here it is. Tuah, the token at least, called
Here's what I think happened. Like, straight up. I think that somebody that she was involved with, like those other people in the call, are using her to promote this. I don't think she even understands that it's a scam. Like, do you really think this girl that got famous for talking about how she sucks dicks understands blockchain? Maybe. Maybe that's possible, but I wouldn't necessarily bet money on it. And I think this has been the case with a lot of content creators. It's that these are people who are not really used to, you know, anything. They don't know any of this shit. They don't know anything about it. So they're just going to go and do whatever, you know, it's like people tell me this is a good idea and I can make a lot of money. I'm just going to do it. Now, I'm not saying that that makes it okay. It obviously doesn't make it okay. But what I'm saying is that it probably wasn't done in bad faith. It was just done because they have no fucking idea what they're doing. And they're so ignorant in the space that they never even think to themselves, I wonder if I should look up if this is the good idea or not. Yeah, it's done in dumb faith. Yeah, exactly. It's done out of ignorance and not bad faith. Yeah, exactly. Like for her personally, which by the way, she's still responsible for. But I'm just saying, like, if you like, let's be honest in talking about like where this came from. Do you really think she masterminded this? Absolutely not.
Was apparently offered by a Cayman Islands legal foundation, which is supposedly how these things are done so that they can offer the tokens under a proper regulatory framework.
Which is amazing to me. It's like the whole argumentation of, oh, well, we had to do this so we could recoup all the money that we needed for starting this company in the Cayman Islands. How can you say that? How can you say that and not realize what an immediate... We had to do this red flag to cover up our other red flag. It's like we had to buy a silencer for the gun so when we shoot people, it won't be loud and the police won't see us. So that's why we needed to buy the silencer. Of course. It's like, yes, that's the whole point. That's the problem.
It's fine. Actually, to be completely honest, that sounds a whole lot more like evading the law as opposed to following it, but that's an opinion, just to be clear.
Well, hey.
Not sure what exactly the foundation's name.
If that's the law, if the law works that way, that's clever use of game mechanics.
There's a lot of them.
That's how I see it.
Structuring the token in a way that isn't just point blank illegal here domestically in the United States seems like at least maybe an okay start. Not that it ultimately made a difference, but whatever. According to pretty much every single media publication who covered this, and according to the apparent founders themselves, while they desperately tried to downplay things and make it seem like they didn't just rug pull the entire community for millions of dollars, a percentage of the entire token supply, they say 17% a few times, so we'll go with that, was offered to insiders through the use of SAFTs, which stands for Simple Agreement for Future Tokens. But those insiders
they just automatically get it.
Millions of dollars, many millions of dollars worth of these tokens well in advance, had no lockup period, as it's called, which basically means they could sell whenever they wanted to. Well, within minutes of the token launching, as everyday people were hyped up and buying in and driving the price higher and higher, basically her community thinking that they could get rich, those insiders began selling, pretty much all of them. And what resulted was a token.
So this looks like about 17% of the graph. Like if you were to measure this from top to bottom, like what is about 17%? Somewhere about here. That's interesting.
$500 billion market cap in minutes, only to come crashing back down, wiping out untold millions in the process.
Wow.
And earning someone, we don't know precisely who at this point, someone earned millions of dollars in transaction fees as well.
Oh, yeah.
Another aspect of this is called sniping, which means bots that rapidly buy out token supply directly at launch, then contributing to the rug pull soon after, which absolutely happened here as well.
Well, it's algorithmic trading. I mean, like, it's very simple. And this is why, like, all of these meme coins, like, if anybody buys into this, like, obviously the people that are scamming and doing things in bad faith should be held accountable. But I want to let you know that I have literally no sympathy for the people that waste their money on this. Like, if you put more than $5 into Tuah coin, thank God somebody else has that money instead, because maybe it'll be spent better than whatever the hell you were going to do. I got to say it.
Example of a bot wallet that purchased roughly $1 million worth of the token within seconds and then proceeded to dump it all on the community soon after, on top of the insiders who were also selling. So double whammy. But the team behind this token claims to have tried to stop these snipers from having so much of an effect. Of course. Clearly, it didn't work. Snipers had a monumental impact alongside pre-sale investors,
what a
snapping
surprise.
up huge amounts of the token and overall exacerbating the disaster. But I did want to mention that this isn't just
and it's also not counting, like, there's a chance that they could have sniped their own token as well. Yeah, they could have been there waiting to do it themselves.
Rug pull. It's also an abject failure of design, so that's fun. It's pretty cut and dry if you think about it. Failed management, rug pull, classic scam in the end overall. However, it gets more interesting than that because according to Bubble Maps, which is a tool for visualizing crypto holdings, posted by the actual social media account for that tool, like the company that makes it, there was a graph put out showcasing that 97% of the entire token supply in total belonged to a single cluster of interconnected wallets.
That didn't take long. That took like, what, 20 seconds? How about that? Wow. Wow.
Incidentally, the same cluster that was nonstop selling. and cratering the price. And the primary wallets that were sniping, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
You can see this one, the one that I gave as an example prior, which begins with HII, ending with RNN, which is number 12 on the bubble maps graph in the cluster identified. That's pretty bad off rip. Making a token, offering millions in a pre-sale, having zero lockup, and then letting those investors, or insiders rather, dump everything on the community as soon as it goes live is bad by itself, 100%. But what makes it all so much more
you're basically crowdsourcing, like, I feel like just doing this is like, it's so shady, and this is the reason why I think that we'll never have a proper, like, socialist revolution. It's because people put money into Hawk Tuah coin. You can have the biggest, most obvious brain-dead scam that's ever been made, and you'll be like, oh, but I could be rich. Okay, I do it. That's it, man. SEC is going to wait to regulate the shit out of this market. They're building precedent, I think. I guess so. People still fall for it. Yeah, they fall for it every single time. It's amazing.
And terrible. I know people just lost money, but forgive me if my sympathy isn't that high for the crypto gambling addicts who lost their life savings on...
I have literally zero sympathy. That's a rip bozo.
Meme coin called Hawk Tuah. Okay, at a certain point, you have to take responsibility for your...
It's like investing in pet rocks.
But the thing that really dials it up a notch is how Haley Welsh, the girl behind the meme, and her managers maybe, or the people who helped her launch the
people
token,
that did
or
it,
at least insiders who felt like they needed to explain themselves, went public on a Twitter Spaces trying to explain everything. It was a complete disaster, and I have to laugh a little bit when I think about the lawyers who will inevitably be involved in all this.
It's like, because they could just listen to it and be like, oh, so you did this, oh, you did that. It's just such an obvious mistake. How can somebody do this and think it's a good idea? I feel like it's so obviously a bad idea. Stop self-snitching, yes. Like, you never talk about this. Like, and also, like, didn't they, if they have 18 employees, and this is like a professional business, they made millions of dollars, shouldn't they have probably, like, why didn't they talk to a lawyer before they did this?
And just being completely floored by how stupid these people are.
Yeah.
But primarily this guy right here, Doc Hollywood, and also this guy named Over Here, who apparently may be the person or entity who actually launched the damn thing, go on this yapping spree, like non-stop yapping, while saying basically nothing, and just digging themselves a grave over how it's unfortunate that this happened, but it's all about community, guys. There's one.
How is it that any singular person thinks that there is a community that can be built around buying a crypto coin? How does that happen? I don't understand. How do you possibly let this happen to yourself?
One part, I'm not kidding, okay? I'm being entirely serious here. There's one part where the Doc Hollywood guy literally says, you should be kissing my ass because I'm trying to give tokens to people, okay? He goes on to say, I don't care about the price. It could go to zero for all I care, but I'm trying to get people interested in crypto. Maybe they go on to be interested in other meme coins after this.
Oh, that's good. So you can scam them again. Perfect. There you go.
I was in disbelief listening to these clowns. And it got even better because Haley Welsh decided to let CoffeeZilla on stage to
Why
speak.
would she do that? That's like when you're selling drugs and the cops don't have a warrant, but they say, can we come inside? No. No, you fucking can't. No, I'm sorry, officer. You need a warrant. How do you let this happen?
And he immediately began grilling them about what happened, who made money, and why they made certain decisions. Well, they couldn't let that keep happening, obviously, so they muted him. They just didn't let him talk, or they tried to talk over him. Pretty sure they ended up kicking him out after that.
I bet they did.
He said, I think I can explain what happened here, and they probably panicked when he said that. But pretty much every single person that they let speak just roasted them, ending with probably the best moment of the entire night, which was when some random guy started asking questions about the transaction fees or who profited, and Haley Welsh just pieces the fuck out. Bedtime.
So I'm sort of curious, like, not for the token price itself, but just in terms of the fact that there's fees that are being generated, there's an actual
Hey
source
guys,
of income.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick. Hello there. But anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
People are genuinely.
Jeez, would you look at the time? I gotta go, guys. Ooh, yeah, wow. Yeah, see you later, guys. Now, to be fair, I mean, you know, maybe that's the case, but it's just funny coincidence, right?
Right now filing complaints with the SEC already.
Uh-huh.
This isn't just another oopsie crypto scam that gets lost in the crowd. This was a viral internet personality.
You have to understand that if this girl goes to jail for this, think about how many 1 hour plus YouTube like documentaries are going to be made about her. You know, from rags to riches to behind bars. It's going to be so good. Like internet aristocrat, not Jim. Internet, what's the other one? Internet historian. Might even make a video about this. Yeah.
I'm putting this in postscript. I didn't realize how popular she is.
Sunny V2,
most listened to podcast in the entire country, right? That's absurd to me. But anyway, this was currently, not was, a viral internet personality with a token launch that capped out at $500 million with a B. $500 million in value. And people in her community, many, many thousands of them, lost pretty much everything they put in because of how the offering was structured. Now, CoffeeZilla made some accusations about insider trading directly linked to the creator's account.
I'm sure that they would have never done insider trading. There's no way they would do that. There's for sure, right? No chance. Why would they would never. I mean, this is about the community, guys. It's about the community of everybody holding the same fake token.
I can't personally verify, but I do take his word at face value now. I think he has a well-earned reputation for calling it right on the basis of crypto scams. So if he says it, I just straight up believe him. I'll be honest about that.
Yep.
And if true, that is jail time. Whoever did it, whoever made money from it, they will face charges because the scale of this.
Nah, bro. Like, dude, the Ice went out and he's like, yeah, I mean, I did scam you guys, but look, I mean, I've been going through some shit. I think I deserve to be able to do that. Like, no. I will not believe this until I see somebody go to jail for this. No, absolutely not. Boogie as well. Yep, still pending. Oh yeah, and then they'll get around to it. I'll remind me when it happens.
One is large enough to where regulators absolutely will come down on them and make an example. The children on pump.fun, like literally children, 12, 13 years old. I have a whole video about that disaster, which I'll link down below. That's a completely different thing. But the actual kids who were rug pulling like $30,000 or $50,000 on random.
W. Absolute W. If you get finessed by a 12-year-old at a certain point, you've got to ask yourself what you did wrong. I'm sorry. Like, if I found out my kids scam people for $30,000, I would be so proud of him. After I made sure that I was not legally liable in any way for what happened. I would be like, you have done something incredible today. We're going to go to McDonald's and you're going to pay for it. Yep. That'd be amazing.
The meme coins with small market caps, they probably won't face any charges or accountability, unfortunately, because the sheer volume of criminal wrongdoing here is off the charts. And the SEC doesn't have the resources required to prosecute even a tiny fraction of it. But what they are doing is headhunting. They want to find people and make examples out of them. Icarus type situation. Fly too close to
you want to catch people who are doing this who step out of line, right? People that do it on a level that is just so flagrant that you just have to hold them accountable. But I feel like it's already happened. Like with Logan Paul, Ice, and Boogie, like all of those they're way worse than this one is, right? In like scope, size, the optics around it, the damages, especially CryptoZoo. SBF, yeah, but like that guy was like what was was that like $15 billion, like $10 billion? Like that's a lot of fucking money, man. Yeah, I mean, that's massive as fuck. Yeah, and also, yeah, he scammed rich people. Like he scammed like Tom Brady. Like, well, everybody likes Tom Brady. We can't let that happen. The guy looks so weird. Let's put him in jail. And that girl, yeah, put her in jail too. Yeah, I don't like. Just look at him. Of course they did it. Yeah, put him in jail. Yeah, that's it. Weird and fat. Yeah. And so, like, yeah, what are we talking about? Steph Curry. Yeah, people love Steph Curry. Like, you're gonna scam him? Nah, bro.
Sun get burned, and this right here is way too close to the sun. Somebody is gonna get burned.
Yeah.
By the way, while making this video, I also shot a DM to CoffeeZilla because as I was listening to the space and hearing him ask valid, legitimate questions, and suddenly he disappeared, I wanted to ask if they had booted him.
He had to go, bro. Like he had something come up. Yeah, he just randomly left because of his own reasons.
When he started to kind of like hold their feet to the fire.
Guys, maybe he left because he realized that he was wrong and the Hawk Tuah coin is going to go to the moon.
And
so he left to buy some himself.
They muted and removed him as a speaker as soon as he started asking valid questions in the space. So
that must
they're
be
just
it.
Straight up trying to dodge accountability if I've ever seen it. And it's going to bite him really hard. In my opinion, the person who's ultimately going to get harmed by this probably isn't, I don't know, but I don't think it's going to be Haley Welsh herself.
Yeah, she will. She's going to be she's going to be harmed the most by it. The people that won't be harmed by it are the people that ran the event and they ran the system. Because the government isn't really going to go after them because there's no real reason for them to. Like, oh, wow, you scammed $20 million. Like, who cares? Like, that's not a big deal. That happens every day. So I think, but with her, because she's a public figure, and so it's going to damage her reputation in like a really big way. And also, like, you have to look at it from the perspective of the prosecutors. The prosecutors want to go after somebody who has a high profile because that raises their profile. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to go after the person that is going to help them and make them look good. Right? And she's also the face of the coin. They need a scapegoat? Yeah.
Doesn't know nearly enough about any of this to pull off a con of this magnitude.
Yeah.
But the people she hired, or at least the people around her who did the actual offering.
Right.
Yeah, somebody's going to go down for it. She can go to bed if she wants to when the questions get too hot, but there's no running from the fact that millions of dollars got wiped out. And the people who
What do you mean there's no running from the fact? It's easy to run from that fact. Logan Paul did it. Ice Poseidon did it. Boogie did it. You just run away from it. You say like, oh, yeah, that was a while ago. Why does everybody act like you can't run away from it whenever we have so many examples of people running away from it? You know what we don't have? We don't have examples of people not running away from it. Like, really? I understand this is kind of a black pill perspective, but like, I mean, let's just look at it for what it is. Come on.
They aren't just going to up and forget what happened here. They're not moving on anytime soon from this. By the way, I'll happily link to the SEC investor complaint form down below this video as well.
Ooh.
Not sure how many people watching actually have holdings of the Hawk Tuah token that they can claim as damages. If you do, I'm very sorry for your recent lapse in critical thinking.
Thank you. Don't say the fact, oh, I'm sorry you got scammed. No, I'm sorry you're stupid.
But for anyone interested, lapsed critical thinking does not mean that you should have your money stolen from you, so have at it. Hilariously, I just keep finding things to add right now. There's a law firm called Berwick Law that's actively looking for people that lost money on the Hawk token. Like, they're headhunting. So, yeah, Berwick Law, they said this on Twitter. They want people to reach out to them.
Remember, the Hawk Tuah girl said that she's above having an OnlyFans. Remember that.
If they lost money, become a client, right? Like, here's the form. So I guess I'll link that down below too. But people did take notice of this. Like, it turned heads. There's going to be repercussions. Bottom line, Hawk Tuah is yet another classic example of wealth redistribution, where the meager holdings of the many, the 99%, if you will, get redistributed to the top 1% of the ecosystem.
This is what happens all the time. Like, and Bernie Sanders said this is a well-documented reality, is that all of the economic recoveries from recessions, I think it was this recovery and then the recovery in 2000 and I guess 9, 10, or 11, right? Whenever you want to say like things really turned around. Guess who recovered the most money? Guess who came out ahead there? The people that already had a lot of money. That's crazy.
Too often in the crypto industry, at least, are willing to lie, cheat, and steal in the pursuit of personal wealth. Most people picture
by the way, all of the scams with crypto are scams that people used to do with stocks in like the robber baron days. Pretty much every single one of these, like printing extra coins, selling them early, all of this stuff, none of this is new. It's just, yeah, JP Morgan, Vanderbilt, yeah, it's the same shit.
Term wealth redistribution.
Yeah, they're 200-year-old
awesome
scams.
utopian concept.
Oh, let's try this one again.
They get showered with capital from those undeserving rich people, but in reality, it's when the con men get everything because they lied to you.
They do.
So that's a lot more indicative of the reality in
It
crypto.
sure is. It always
Anyway,
is.
Short video, spur of the moment. Stay tuned
It's
for
funny.
more comprehensive coverage that comes after, especially if I can narrow down who precisely is behind this Cayman Islands Foundation or the insider fundraising that happened.
I wonder who
early
it
on.
is.
But either way, there's a lot of people looking into it now, and it's only a matter of time before everything comes out. Again, somebody will go down for
Somebody
this.
says they're new, it's something new, so old protections don't apply. Wire fraud could, as a blanket, cover all of these things because all of the instances of the laws that are done fall under the umbrella of fraud. So if you can prove that the same type of fraud happened, but in another context, you create a very strong argument to create a precedent for that. Let's be real. Anything can be wire fraud. There are a lot of laws, like basically it is wire fraud. Yeah, it is. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
One, mark my words. It's a prediction, official prediction.
Yeah.
I'll circle back to it eventually when it happens. That's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A special VPN deal, locals and Patreon, channel memberships, merchandise, etc., etc. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
So many people complain that the 1% has all the money, but then the average Joe just keeps funneling money to them. I don't understand this stupidity. Yes. Whenever I was younger, I always thought that, like, at a certain point, people would wake up and fight back against the power. They would fight back and they would say, we're tired of being oppressed. We're tired of living with bad wages. We're not going to have this happen anymore. We're going to all collectively vote against this because it's in our best interest as people. I believe this, right? I was a kid. And so then, well, you know, it is what it is. And then, well, you know what? You want to know what really changed it for me? It was guilds in WoW. Because I had a policy that if I ever wanted to do something that was good for me but bad for most people, I would put it to a vote. Because I could always convince people to vote against their best interest. And when I did that a few times and it worked so overwhelmingly well, I was like, guys, I don't think we're going to have that. I don't think this revolution shit's going to happen. Yeah, I don't think it's... Are you serious? Yes, exactly. Yeah, democracy, what did you do when it didn't work? I don't know, because it worked every single time. It would always work. It's the same with GDKPs. Like, I would do the math, and you guys know I'm pretty good at, like, doing fast math. I would do the math, and then I would do it wrong, but I would do it right enough to where it seemed right, but wrong enough to where it was still me getting money. And nobody ever figured it out. They never did the math themselves. They never figured out how it worked. It was like 3 numbers. You put them together, you divide it, and they couldn't do it. I did, and I got kicked. Yeah, true, right? Yeah, I get it. It's incredible. It is. And so, yeah, brain no work. Exactly. That's the point. They're pacified. Exactly. And so, never forgetting ABC. Why are people this dumb, bro? The reason why they're this dumb is because we don't need a lot of people that have critical thinking, okay? If you want to go back, like, so you think about the entire history, there's a video, give it a like. This is pretty new, and I'm glad that there's people talking about this. It's so funny for me to see another one of these, but I've got to say that I think it is abso-fucking-lutely cope. It is the biggest cope that I have ever heard, that there's somehow going to be like a, there's somehow going to be like a reckoning for this girl or the people that are doing this, and they're going to be held accountable. Like, if Logan Paul doesn't get held accountable, then I'm not going to see them getting held accountable either. There's just no way it's going to happen. I'm sorry. And 80% of people are NPCs. Well, it's like you don't need a bunch of people who are like making decisions or thinking about this stuff, because it doesn't matter. Like, you can have plenty of people that are just doing random ass stuff and just being dumbasses, and that's it, right? So yeah, I can't believe how dumb people in my WoW raid were. I quit WoW because people can't not stand and fire. Exactly. That's why I stopped playing. Do you remember Occupy Wall Street? Those kinds of movements are too easily contained by the alphabet agencies. Power at the top is power is always top down. Bottom up revolutions are a fantasy. Oh, they are. They're always a fantasy. And generally, like, a lot of people's, I guess, like, lack of understanding or like historical understanding is why they get taken advantage of in a lot of cases, I think. So yeah. It's because people are lazy and naive. I think so too. And yeah, it's just, you like the movie Departed? Yeah, I watched it like 50 times. Absolutely. And Zach said if he's doing drops, I will be. I do have drops. I talked to the people at PoE yesterday, and that's it. So yeah, it's going to be no problem. And I'm going to be doing that. But it doesn't come out until tomorrow. So yeah. And greed and laziness are unbelievably powerful. Well, here's the thing, right? It's that I think most people just don't think. Straight up, they don't think. They never really evaluate things in any sort of like a critical way. They just take everything at face value, and they never really think about anything. And so that's it. Unfortunately, it's complacency. Well, it's also that they're just not interested and they don't really care that much. I think that's another huge fucking component, man. They don't really give a shit that much. They're just there. They're along for the ride. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, anyway, that's the way it's going to be, and that's always the way it's going to be. I don't think this girl is going to face any consequences, and I really hope that I'm wrong, but I don't think that I will be. Because if Logan Paul didn't face consequences for doing it on such a larger scale, think about how many massive videos were made about this and how many times Logan Paul got reported. And there's a chance that there's a lawsuit brewing, and eventually this person's going to go to jail, and, all this is going to happen. But I'll be real, guys, I think it's just cope.